Depression is persistent feelings of sadness or despair, and without any necessarily realistic reasons for these feelings. Everyone's had the feeling of being depressed, and I think that's why we identify so strongly with depression.
There is no interest in life. Everything is just running at a sort of slower or lower pace, which basically means that these people are not able to function in an ongoing manner like they functioned before in life.
One of the problems in diagnosis of the mood disorders is the overlap of symptoms. And unfortunately, it isn't like the textbook where a person exhibits only one symptom. One person might be fearful of germs, they might be manic, they might be depressive, they might also have hallucinations and delusions. And I want to ask you, how do you diagnose that person?
Research indicates that among the wide range of psychological disorders, major depression is the most common, affecting approximately 1 in 4 females and 1 in 8 males.
To understand why major depression is so prevalent, I mean, I think we really are talking about looking at the interface between biology and environment. In terms of biology, again, the genetics of affective disorders seem to play a significant role. But the environment is also quite taxing, and we have numerous stresses on a daily basis. Our kids are exposed to kinds of stresses that many of us were not exposed to when we were kids. And our coping mechanisms are really taxed very significantly, I would say, from quite a young age in this modern society. And when you have the interaction of a possible genetic predisposition and this really significant amount of stress, that can tip the cart and produce depression. So we are seeing a lot of depression in childhood. We're seeing a lot of depression in adolescents. We're seeing a lot of depression in adults.
I believe major depression is one of the prevalent disorders because it's a part of our society. And the older studies on depression found out that it composed only about 7% of the general population, and these were done in the 80s. In the 90s, there were larger scale studies done where they had more intensive and probing interviews of the individual, and they found that the incidence of depression probably went up to about 18%.
Along with major depression, another form of mood disorder is bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder typically involves abnormally intense positive and negative moods. In most cases, the person experiences extreme mood swings with episodes of depression alternating with periods of extreme euphoria, called manic episodes. For many people with bipolar disorder, a manic episode immediately precedes or follows a bout of major depression.
Well, we might think of mood as being a continuum. And on this side is depression, and on this side is manic, being manic. So the person who has bipolar disorder, which was formerly called manic depression, is experiencing both of these two poles.
In a manic episode, it's characterized by elevated mood. So people feel good. They feel healthy. They have big ideas, racing thoughts perhaps. This would be a time when they'd have a lot of energy. They might only be sleeping a few hours a night, and they might be working on great plans, for example, a business venture, or to start some huge endeavor.
A manic episode involves talking faster, thinking faster, doing everything faster. Cognitions are fast. And so I would say they speed up. They speed up bodily, they speed up cognitively, and they probably speed up emotionally. The speeding up of emotionally creates an impulsivity, and they might very well spend huge amounts of money gambling, be sexually permissive, or involved in spending grand amounts.
The problem is that the judgment is not good during this time. A lot of people squander family resources during a manic episode because spending money on certain things seems like such a great idea at the time. This is very, very disruptive for families, and the individual themselves might not feel they need any treatment because they feel great.